Hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I'm going to be doing an anime review on One Piece episode 656. Now, this episode of One Piece, personally, I enjoyed it. It was a good episode, but I can honestly see how some fellow Chibits or people that are currently watching this video could probably say that this episode wasn't the best. Personally, there was a lot of filler. If I am correct, there was a lot of filler in this episode, especially with the tournament, the Gladiators, Arena, Coliseum, whatever. The whole entire section, when you get to see Rebecca fighting Fodder versus Fodder, that was filler. If I remember correctly, I don't remember that in the manga, so technically I think a lot of this episode was filler. And so, in a sense, this episode technically could be considered filler. I mean, there was some actual progression in this episode. I mean, you get to see, what's going on with Law and Doffy. You get to see what is going on with Nami and the gang. And then you see what's going on with, Rebecca and Luffy. And so, pretty much, majority of the episode, even though it was filler, I liked it for the most part. I mean, I'd rather see, this type of, atmosphere and filler than see, just cutting off in the middle and going into a filler arc. But, I mean, personally, I feel like this episode was enjoyable, especially with the Barto part. For instance, Barto, our fucking fanboy, is so amazing. I love his character so freaking much. That is one thing I really love about this anime of One Piece, and this is why I love the anime kind of better than the manga when it comes into the sense of Barto. Because Barto as a character, seeing him fanboy all over Zoro, he's like, Zoro-senpai! 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 I'm his right-hand man of Zoro-senpai, I'm right-hand of Luffy. I'm like, what? It is so good. It is so freaking good. I mean, Barto is an amazing freaking character. There is no other words to describe him. He's just an awesome character. The way he fangasms, he's like the fangirl of One Piece. For instance, like, he's all of us fans that are currently watching or reading the manga of One Piece, and that fangasm all over the series, that's exactly what Barto is. And so it's so hilarious. It really is. It's so funny getting to see how Barto's character is portrayed in this series, and seeing how, the way they did the animation with him crying and all that was just, it made me laugh. I really laughed at this episode because it was just so good. Now, I want to talk about one quick thing, actually two things I do want to talk about. For one thing, about Rebecca. Rebecca, in this episode, once again, we get to see her fighting Fodder, but there was one thing we did specifically learn about in this episode about her. She has observation Haki. For instance, she, has Haki, which is really interesting because now we know as a character, she can at the very least, perceive things a lot better, and it was interesting seeing how Luffy was able to notice that. Another big point about this episode was the entire bit with Jorah and Doffy. You could clearly see that Doffy cares about his crew members. He's like, I don't need you, get out of here. But I mean, you would think someone like Doffy, that is the ruler of the underworld, technically, a broker, wouldn't care about his crew members. You'd think he would just kill them. But from this episode, we clearly see that he cares to a certain extent because he didn't want to attack Law until, she was out of Law's hands, in safe hands. And so that's really interesting if you think about that for a second. Now, overall, the episode, it's average. It's a good episode. It has some good animation, and it does have some good music, so I enjoyed it for the most part. So, everybody, tell me your thoughts about this episode of One Piece. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? I love all of you so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.